Time to make her some breakfast. I feel like I need more context, but that's pretty, that comes off as pretty wowzers. Like, here's a problem that I have, okay? And I could be totally wrong, just being honest. Maybe I'm just biased. But this is Dave Chappelle's energy when talking about Kyrie on that SNL thing. And yeah, he's like, well, you know, not every Jew is a whatever, but every blah 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 is a Jew, and it's Jews, and you know, and I'm not saying you should be violent, but you know, okay, that was like Dave Chappelle talking about Jews and Kanye, okay, which is fine, not really, but sure, let's say it's fine. But I feel like if a white dude would have like said something to a black guy where he's like, man, you really want a kumbaya moment, Dave Chappelle would be like, now listen here. That story dates back to the year 1742, when they would take slaves and they would nail their hands together and they would force them to sing these horrible spirituals that was forced on them by the slave owner. People don't know the history there behind, and it's like that's just like the feeling that I get. Like, he's obviously very serious on black issues and everything, but then when it comes to like other types of, like, we'll say anti-Semitism, it's like and it's like, I don't know. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe that's all in my head. Who the fuck knows? I'm not sure. Wasn't Chappelle pretty chill about Kramer saying the N-word? Yeah, kind of, but like, nobody cares about Kramer saying the N-word because everybody knows that that's obviously wrong and it's obviously racist, right? His whole life was destroyed, obviously. It's like, duh, right? It's like, ask somebody, like, are you gonna condemn this guy for raping a woman? And it's like, yeah, I guess, if you want me to, but like, everybody knows that he fucked up, he's wrong, it's stupid, it's right? So that's like an easy one. But yeah, I don't know, dude. The anti-Semitism today is pretty wild, okay? Pretty wild. It wasn't that he was being anti-Semitic, it was that he was running defense for soft anti-Semitism, being ultra uber charitable. Is it soft anti-Semitism? Is Ye doing soft anti-Semitism? Is are you sure? Maybe? Can I at least get like over medium anti-Semitism? At least over medium anti-Semitism?
Kanye West said he can't be an anti-Semite since he is Jewish himself.
I am Jew also. Do your research on it.
I wanted to learn more about his Jewish heritage.
So I went to his childhood friends to find out more.
That's where he lived. That was his childhood home, right up there.
It turns out Kanye is indeed from a family of Orthodox Jews right here in Brooklyn, New York.
I mean, some guy emailed me a ton of shit. When Kanye says things like, I am Jew or I am a Jew, apparently the reason why, is it the black Israelites? The reason why they say this is because Jews are actual Jew people. They are Jews. Jewish means that you're kind of like a Jew, but not really. So if you hear him say something like, if you ever correct somebody, we're like, aren't you Jewish? And he's like, I'm a Jew. He's correcting that because Jewish is like almost like an insult. Oh, a Farrakhan influence, I guess. Apparently Jewish is like an insult. Or that's like what you say to like the fake Jews. That's why he'll make that correction of, I'm not Jewish, I'm a Jew.
Some people called him the perfect Jew.
I bar mitzvahed Kanye.
Really?
His bar mitzvah was in the synagogue down the block.
By lighting the menorah, I used to skip the candles by accident, and I always just say, Kanye, all the lights!
So that's actually from you?
Yeah, all the lights. That's.
He unironically means Jewish? Yes, actually. Let me see if I can find this fucking email. Why are you carving out a difference between being a Jew and Jewish? It makes no sense. I'm not carving out the difference, you fucking moron. What I'm saying is that Ye carves out a difference, and I think the black Israelites carve out a difference, where Jew is like the actual Jew person, and Jewish is like an imitator, basically.
For me,
his ad-libs are Jewish kvetches.
So this is what Kanye was chanting every day for years.
He would sit right here.
Why do you think he says all these negative things about Jews?
He's just a self-hating Jew like me, like you.
So Kanye wasn't lying. He really is one of the most Jewish people ever.
No matter where you may roam, you can always come back home.
No matter where you may roam, you can always come back home.
Oh, yeah, he'll come back. They always come back.
Jesus. That's some serious cope. What am I coping about? How could anything I'm talking about even be referred to as a cope? Favorite Twitter drama of the year. Oh.
Top 10 Twitter dramas of the year. Let's go. I think officially this has been the craziest year on Twitter. Just the level of discourse and the types of discourse and what we were discoursing about. So this is going to go quickly. There's going to be very little to no nuance. Let's go. First up, we have Wifegate from the very beginning of this year. This man let his wife work a 12-hour shift and then made her shovel the driveway.
Even after a 12-hour shift at the hospital last night, my wife still has the energy to shovel the driveway. God bless her and all our frontliners. Time to make her some breakfast. I feel like I need more context, but that's pretty... that comes off as pretty wowzers.
He got defensive in the comments. This went super viral. He was basically saying that it was her choice and that he was making her breakfast, so it counted. Next up, we have cooking as...
Let's remind me, people make fun of people who can't cook. It's not their fault. No one taught them, and learning any skill as an adult can be really daunting, especially when cookery is such an overwhelmingly broad subject. Haha, they can't even boil an egg. That's not funny. It's shit they never had an opportunity to learn, and instead of providing that opportunity, you're just going to laugh at them. Oh my god, to life. The only thing this tweet is missing is blaming capitalism somehow.
As ableist, it really doesn't sit right with me when people make fun of people who can't cook. It's not their fault that no one taught them, and learning any skill as an adult can be really daunting. The discourse that is knowing how to microwave an egg is ableist was absolutely mind-numbing. I could not believe the shit that people were saying. We also have touch grass as ableist. This random street is ableist.
Sounds like an accessibility nightmare, Max. Okay, hear me out. 4-story buildings, narrow streets, wide sidewalks, and lots of trees.
An accessibility nightmare. I did appreciate that he clapped back. If you want to interpret, look at this pleasant street as I do not care about disabled people, then I guess that's cool. Good for him. This is one of my favorites of the ones that went mega viral.
Oh, I remember this tweet. Why do white non-binary people act like being non-binary cancels out their whiteness? Oh, I remember this response. I'm a starving child starving to death, and this is the very last thing I've ever read. Goodbye.
White non-binary people act like being non-binary cancels out their whiteness. The replies to this, absolutely unhinged. But this comment, it's in the Hall of Fame. I'm a starving child starving to death, and this is the very last thing I've ever read. Goodbye. Next up, we have having bookshelves as performative, which I made a video about, but now I can't find. I thought I had a screenshot of it.
Having bookshelves is performative. It actually is, but I wouldn't call it ableist. I don't believe that most people have read any of the fucking books on those shelves behind them. I don't believe it.
But this was absolutely wild. People went nuts for this one. Next up is Joyce Carol Oates was too ugly to have written a book about Marilyn Monroe. This didn't go mega viral, but it went viral on literature Twitter, and it was just really, really funny because so many people were so triggered by all of the implications that they couldn't really have a good faith conversation about it. Top 4. Both chronically online and terminally online exist as common phrases, ultimately mean the same thing. Makes it clear that ableism is laced in both, and you think disabled people are disposable. My God.
Maybe, do you think that we need to have like a zombie apocalypse just for like 2 months to weed all these people out, and then we kind of like restart with who's left? I'm sorry.
The logic.
Clip me. TikTok.com/Destiny Debates if I get clipped on that.
Leaps that you are making with this incredible chef's kiss. And finally, top 3, reading is not that deep, which I made a video about. You can see this is a screenshot of it. People went absolutely nuts. Anti-intellectualism is on the rise, period. I think the Anna Mardal situation is going to haunt me for the rest of my days. The original discourse was that telling people who don't read that they don't read, or being a writer that doesn't read is ableist or something. And then they were slowly revealed to be a grifter who was taking money from young trans people while working at Lockheed Martin as a nepotism hire. Absolutely bonkers. Something that can only happen on Twitter. And then, of course, another screenshot from my original video. My husband and I wake up every morning, and basically this woman talking about her nice moment with her husband every morning sent people into an absolute frenzy, and they were just trauma dumping and telling her all about how miserable their lives were and how she didn't deserve to be happy because they weren't happy.
Jesus.
Wild. Top 10 Twitter dramas of the year. Let's.
But the Kanye West slander, I won't tolerate it. I won't. Tim Pool L.
He's like so predictable. Just like think of like whatever a decent human being would say and then say the opposite, and it's probably going to come from this disgusting fuck. Like it's so easy to predict everything he'll say about any issue ever. Why do you put so much mental power and or effort into attacking people who are pretty much already on your side, at least ideologically? Start attacking people on the other side of the spectrum, please. Haven't we spent most of the past like month or two going after conservatives? I don't feel like I haven't been fighting with lefties that much at all over the past few months. Have I been? I feel like we've pretty much, especially since we've done YouTube, I feel like we've pretty much cut these people off completely. I need to finish getting all my materials here so I can start. Lav? Do you think Lav and me are aligned on most positions? Do you think the CoffeeZilla guy has a good understanding of finance? I'm not shit talking, but somebody really needs to push that SB whatever the fuck guy on how are customer funds at risk? I really want to know the answer to that. How the f did that ever happen? This is fraud, what he's talking about right now. This is fraud. I have a liquidity issue and I'm gonna satisfy it with customer holdings, with customer cash deposits. I'm gonna satisfy my, that's insane. That's fraud. Full stop. That's fraud. Full stop. The only way they were able to maintain those